Oily skin can be tricky to deal with because it seems like almost every product that you use will make you look like a fresh glazed donut from Krispy Kreme. And for many people that have oily skin, they also struggle with acne due to pores getting clogged and increased breakouts. But it's okay, after watching this video, you'll have a blueprint of what products to buy to deal with your oily and acne prone skin. Now before we get into the skincare routine, you need to determine if you even have oily skin in the first place. There are 3 skin types: oily, dry, and combination skin. In my opinion, the best time to determine what skin type you have is right when you wake up. If you notice that areas across your whole skin is dry, then you likely have dry skin. However, if you notice that your T-zone, which includes your forehead and nose, if you notice that area is oily, then you likely have combination skin. You might still have dry areas around your nose, lips, or maybe even under your eyes. Now, just because you do have oily areas around your forehead and nose, that doesn't mean you have oily skin. That's just combination skin. However, if you do have oily areas across your entire face, then you do have oily skin, and this video is perfect for you. Now, a lot of people think that oily skin absolutely sucks because you always look so greasy and nasty. However, I think that it's actually pretty nice to have oily skin because there's a low chance of you drying out your face completely. And if you dry out your face, this is actually pretty bad for you because it's actually just going to cause you to break out even more. And so because you have oily skin, the odds of this happening are quite low. And because you're less likely to get this completely dried out skin, you have more versatility in what products you can use. And in this oily skincare routine, I'm only going to be going over a cleanser, moisturizer, and a sunscreen. You can add other products to your skincare routine if you want. However, I'm going to be talking about supplemental products in another video. For now, it's just the essentials. And so first things first, we need to get a cleanser. Now, because oily skin is very unlikely to get dried out, we have a lot of versatility in which cleanser to choose. Now, I've decided to pick out several cleansers because people's skin can react in different ways. For this reason, I chose the hydrating cleanser and also a foaming cleanser. The hydrating cleanser that I chose was the Roche-Posay Hydrating Gentle Cleanser. And the reason why I selected this for this skincare routine is that I think it's absolutely fantastic and I've used it for so long. I've been using it for almost a year now. The reason why I like it is because it's still able to clean your pores while remaining quite gentle, so it won't completely dry your skin. The reason why I'm including a hydrating cleanser is that because for some people, even if they do have oily skin, they can't tolerate using a foaming cleanser. And so if you fall under that category, then opt for the Roche-Posay Gentle Cleanser. However, if your skin can tolerate it, then the other option is the CeraVe Foaming Cleanser. I personally haven't used a foaming cleanser, but I have heard good things about it. If you do have a lot of excess oil and dirt, then this should do a decent job for you. However, you do want to use this with caution because I've read online that there are many people out there that have tried this cleanser and it hasn't worked for them. It was too drying for them, even if they did have oily skin. So just be aware if you do decide to use the CeraVe Foaming Cleanser. Now, after you cleanse your skin, you need to put on a moisturizer. A lot of people that have oily skin just automatically assume that they don't need a moisturizer because their skin is already so oily, but this is not the case. The reason you need a moisturizer is that if you're cleansing your skin, your face is gonna get quite dry. And once your face gets too dry, our skin actually overcompensates by overproducing sebum. So as a result, your face is just going to get more oily and even more prone to breakouts. So to completely just prevent this, you want to use a moisturizer. And I have 3 moisturizers selected. The first one is the CeraVe PM Moisturizer. I actually used to use this for a few months and I actually liked it a lot. This moisturizer is very lightweight, so it's absolutely perfect for oily skin. Because for a lot of people that have oily skin and use moisturizers, their skin looks way too greasy because they're using a very heavy moisturizer. And the CeraVe PM Moisturizer is absolutely perfect, and it's not going to add so much moisture to your face that your pores get clogged. It gets that perfect middle ground where your skin isn't dry because it's hydrated enough, but it's also not overly hydrated. Another moisturizer that I've heard good things about is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel. Now, this is also supposed to be very good for oily skin because it's water-based, and this means that it's not going to overly hydrate your face. Anything that's too creamy or thick is going to add a bit too much hydration to your face, and this is what the Neutrogena Water Gel is supposed to solve. It's going to add enough hydration to your face to where your skin isn't overly hydrated. If this is too drying for you, you could also just layer this with another moisturizer because this is very lightweight. So you could put on this gel first and then put on a cream moisturizer after. Now, I have done my research and there are people that do break out because of this moisturizer, and it's mostly because it has fragrance in it. And there are a decent amount of people that can't handle fragrance because it just causes them to break out. So if you do pick up this moisturizer, you do have a decent amount of flexibility because you can layer other moisturizers on top of it. Now, the final moisturizer I have on this list is the La Roche-Posay Triple Matte Moisturizer, and I use this every single night and I absolutely love it. It hasn't caused breakouts or clogged my pores at all. Like I said about the CeraVe moisturizer, this moisturizer adds that perfect amount of moisture you need to your skin without overly hydrating it. Now, there are people out there that do think that this moisturizer is too drying, and I actually understand this. So if your face does get too dry from using this moisturizer, try to layer this with another moisturizer, and you could probably do that with the Neutrogena moisturizer that I just mentioned before. Now when it comes to sunscreens, this is probably the most tricky part when it comes to an oily based skincare routine. There are just so many sunscreens on the market that are way too oily, way too greasy. And this is bad for your skin because it's likely to cause pore clogging and acne breakouts. And so the first sunscreen that I have on the list is the CeraVe AM Moisturizer. The CeraVe AM Moisturizer is so similar to the CeraVe PM Moisturizer that I already mentioned. However, the CeraVe AM Moisturizer has SPF 30, so it's going to do a good job of both moisturizing your skin and also protecting your skin from the sun. Now, even though in my personal experience it worked quite well for me, there are a lot of people online that say it doesn't properly absorb into the skin. But honestly, I think that this is the safest option when it comes to buying a sunscreen for oily skin. The next sunscreen is the Super Goop Unseen Sunscreen, and I personally haven't used this, but through my research I found that people actually like this a lot. It's supposed to feel like a nice dry oil, which is kind of weird because we're putting it on oily skin, but because it is on that drier side, it's not going to overly grease up your face. It gets that ideal middle ground that we're looking for. A lot of people describe this sunscreen as giving them this softness in their skin, and so it both looks and feels good. Also, if you do wear makeup, this is supposed to work well under that, although you should already know about how I feel about makeup. It's also not supposed to leave a white cast on your skin, so that's going to be nice if you do have a darker complexion. You won't be looking like Casper the Ghost out here. Now once you get a cleanser, moisturizer, and sunscreen, you want to make sure that in the morning, you use the cleanser, and then you want to follow that up with putting the moisturizer on, and then the sunscreen. You want to follow this up at night with using a cleanser and then just the moisturizer. Obviously you don't need the sunscreen because you're going to be sleeping. I don't think you're going to be seeing any sun. But yeah, it's just a pretty standard basic skincare routine. If you do feel like you need more skincare products that you need to deal with your acne or hyperpigmentation or anything like that, I am going to be making a separate video that talks about specific issues you might have with your skin and how to address that with those certain products. But that's all I have for this video. If you need skincare advice, DM me on Instagram at choice.yt and I got you. Peace.